Hey, welcome back. Talking Rowing with Rory. This is where we take a bit more of a deep dive into what Heather is doing as you get ready to row in a boat by yourself all the way from America to America. Well, yes, you get it. So it's an entirely domestic trip, but from to all the way to Hawaii. So what I want to ask about today is not so much about the actual trip, amazing though that is, but about the causes and the organisations that you'll be supporting, or that you'll be generating funding for, and so I wanted to ask a bit about that. And so we learned a bit in a previous video about your personal connections with Emmanuel International, but tell us a little bit about more about what that organisation does, where it's involved, what it's kind of what it's doing.
So Emmanuel, what they do is they would partner with local churches, which is one of the, I guess, enduring local organizations in small rural communities. Mm-hmm. And what the church sees as a need in their community, that's they would approach EI and say, we'd like to do this work, do you want to partner with us and help us to do that? So the way that it works is it's basically people empowering, is local people doing the work, and there's quite a lot of training involved. So it might be health training, doing teaching of mother and child. Water and sanitation is a big one, cutting down on diseases, so latrines, hand washing, teaching girls about menstruation. That's a project that we're going to be fundraising for in the UK. And farming practices as well. So with the shift of rainfall patterns, traditional ways of farming, they're just not as effective as they once were.
Right.
So that's the type of work that they do. It's pretty rural, but not rural, grassroots kind of low level tech, but it's actually what's needed.
Yeah. Now, when you talk about Canada and UK, are you saying that there are different branches there that sponsor different work, or what?
So there's offices of Emmanuel International in a few different countries. So in Canada, which is where I guess it was started, we're raising money for a project called the Promise Project, and that's targeting reducing child and maternal mortality, particularly in Malawi. And so it's a conglomerate project that's working, partnered with the Canadian government, who's helping fund that project. And so the funds that we would raise through this would be supporting EI's portion of that project. And in Malawi, the risk of a mother dying in her life of when she's giving birth is 1 in 26.
Wow.
Chance of dying.
Wow.
Whereas here in Australia or in Canada, you have a 1 in 7,300 chance of dying. So the need is definitely there.
Wow.
And so 60% of women would be giving birth with absolutely no medical assistance, no midwife, nurse, doctor.
Wow.
And so if you can imagine the complications that would arise, and then the consequences of that.
Wow. Okay, so that's the Canadian project that is happening in Malawi, which I remember historically often it would be at one of the poorest countries in the world when you look at those lists. I don't know if that's the situation now, but
I think it might have improved a bit, but potentially at the cost of countries that are in conflict.
Yes, right. Okay, and then UK, is UK looking at a different project or a different focus?
So UK, they work in a lot of the same countries. It's just the funds for financial reasons have to be, if you're going to get a tax deduction, it's going to come in the UK. If you donate in Canada, it's going to come from that one. So the UK has a project, it's called Girls Fair Futures. So that started initially in Uganda, and now they're starting that in Tanzania. And that's working with girls who are getting their periods. Mm-hmm. So if you can imagine getting your period, you're a 12-year-old girl, don't have a lot of money at all, how are you going to deal with having your period? So I guess disposable pads and tampons, that's not happening.
Yes.
But even having underwear. And so what they do is they would go into schools and meet with all the girls that are 12 and above, talk about menstruation. It's normal, it's a reality, these are the things you need to think about.
Sure.
And they end up giving them 4 pairs of underwear and 4 reusable pads that they can washable ones. And that would last for a year. And the main reason for this is that getting an education for a girl is quite difficult in the sense that you're not going to be the first one to get the school fees if you have brothers.
Yes.
So if you are in school and you miss 4 or 5 days every month, you're going to start to get behind, and that's the reason for a lot of the girls' dropout rates.
Wow.
So if we can get girls to stay in school, it just helps the whole community in and of itself.
Wow, stuff you wouldn't even think of.
No, it's not. So half of the people watching this have thought about it.
Yeah.
The other half wouldn't have thought about it.
Yes, I'm
as well.
representing for the team, haven't not thought about it before. But yeah, and thinking about those consequences of that meaning for the education of women and so on, that's very important. So what do you want us to know? What if, in terms of the work in Malawi, the work with girls, and with the stuff about menstruation and everything, what would you love to see as an outcome of the money that's raised for these projects?
Well, the Girls Paths one in particular, it's quite a small project and it doesn't need a lot of funding to get it going, but it's actually quite difficult to fundraise. And talking with Linda, who works for Emmanuel, her comment was, it's really hard to talk about this stuff when you're in a meeting with like a male-dominated society. Meetings, it just, people feel uncomfortable, but it's such a necessity. I think making it something that's more discussed would be great. And then also recognizing, as much as it can be sort of like women's topics, half of the kids that are born are men. And it's a family's life. It's not just, I guess, projects targeting women, it's projects targeting a whole community. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, that's very exciting. Great to get more of a visual on that and to understand more about where it's going. That's hugely encouraging. So to get involved in that, there's all the normal stuff. So there's the Instagram account, the Facebook account, the subscribing to the YouTube channel or subscribing to the email. They're all ways you're going to hear about this stuff, but I believe you're launching a new angle to help us know more.
So we're going to be launching every 2 weeks or fortnightly blog about the work that is being done by Emmanuel International, but as well as Tier Australia, so you can learn more about the people and the stories, but also start to think about, I guess, the bigger complex issues of how things are very much interrelated and not quite as simple, which no one's life is actually that simple.
Excellent. So
that'll be, first one is online right now, and then keep waiting for the next ones to come.
Excellent. We're going to get educated. We're going to learn a whole lot of stuff about different needs in different parts of the world. So follow along with the blog and it will be great. We'll see you next time.